Hi, Jhanisse. It's great to see you. Thanks for speaking with me today.
Thank you so much, Jessica, and everyone at UVA for this opportunity.
I know over the past several years, and even in the past few weeks, you have been incredibly busy. You've been leading training sessions in different countries for various groups of democracy advocates, helping them to develop skills and often navigate fraught circumstances in their home countries. Stepping back from that just for a moment, can you tell me about Standing Rivers, the movement that you co-founded several years ago? What led you to create that movement?
Thank you. Back in 2017, I think I was 24, 23. I could see how my country was going towards a big violent crisis, not only because the constitution had been violated several times by this point, by this year exactly, the President Evo Morales decided to continue running for office despite term limits that were established by the constitution and by a referendum. He made it legal to stay in power indefinitely. And there were many other human rights and environmental violations happening. And we could see how civil society was getting very anxious about this because the traditional mechanisms established by the Constitution were not working to protect our rights and to protect democracy. But when we started Standing Rivers, we really thought about it as a movement that would be nonviolent, creative, showing a different way of interacting with the state that did change public policy, but did it from a more strategic point of view, but also with a more positive narrative and focusing on the unity of the country. But I think the moment where things really took a turn that I really said I'm willing to die for this, and not just me, but many other people in Bolivia, was when the Amazon fires happened in 2019. By this point, we had been working with firefighters. Many of them are our friends, our brothers, people that we have been working with for a long time because they were teaching us things such as first aid, how to evacuate people. And when the fires happened, the firefighters went to fight the Amazon fires. And initially, we thought that the government was just ignorant and refusing to cooperate. But eventually, we realized that these were intentional fires made for profit due to deals that the government had signed with the Chinese government. Um, the fires were terrible. I think a lot of people heard about what happened in Brazil. They don't know about what happened in Bolivia. We lost an amount of land the size of Ireland in the space of 4 months.
I know that you, related to the fires, were organizing a lot of efforts on the ground, coordinating people, building networks, trying to engage the Bolivian government. What did that experience teach you about the importance of civil society for democracy?
When there are countries like mine whose state system is so weak, where institutions are not independent, and not only are they not independent, but they are almost non-existent in different parts of the country due to the failure of our structures, the way things actually work and they actually happen in real life is very different to what is written on the Constitution or how it ought to be according to what the law says. And that knowledge of their lived reality that many of us see, what I saw in the fires, receiving only 1 box of tea for 200 people, that felt like an insult. The knowledge on how to make things work usually relies with civil society, and it relies with the people that are on the front lines doing this type of work.
You have worked with the Center for Applied Nonviolent Actions and Strategies, or CANVAS, which is an organization founded and directed by the Karsh Institute's current practitioner fellow, Serge Popovich. How has your work with CANVAS helped you or helped you help others challenge authoritarian rule or give more voice to ordinary people and civil society in democracies?
I really thank UVA for giving Canvas and Sergio Popovich, my personal mentor, the support that they have been providing, because I think there are very few institutions around the world that actually teach nonviolent as a technique, not only as a philosophy, but as a set of steps that have been proven with the scientific method that teach you how to apply different types of nonviolent tactics and methods in your community. But also Canvas is one of the few institutions that has uh, teachers that have done it themselves. So we're not only talking about the theory, we know the practice as well.
Drawing on some of that work over the past year or so, you've been working with Chris Carter, who is a now lab faculty member and a UVA politics professor. He is an expert in Latin American politics. What questions or needs arose for you from your work in the field that you thought could be helped by having a research partner?
There's this saying of how the important always competes with urgency. And I think in the case of activism in countries like mine, urgency often has to deal with saving someone's life. So the important is important, but I don't have the time for the important right now. So this is why having people like Chris who can help us understand the work that we're doing, put it into paper, and actually share it with others, which is such an important part of nonviolence, has been crucial. And I know I've said this before, but I really wish I could clone Chris. There are so many things that are needed in terms of the support needed on the ground. But what we are focusing on right now is understanding what did Standing Rivers do successfully to mobilize so many people around the country in order to defend the forests of Bolivia. There are many crises in my country right now: economic crisis, health crisis, political crisis, etc. But somehow 2019 and in other years, we've managed to convey the need to protect the environment in a way that made this the priority for many people my age and younger. And we have been able to mobilize youth. So we want to understand what we did well. We want to be able to sustain that. This is going to come through research, through surveys, through focus groups. And I am incredibly thankful that we have a partner like Chris, because not only he understands, but he travels to Bolivia often, and he's willing to talk to people and to learn beyond what is in books. And I think that is so valuable, to find that getting your hands dirty, go on the ground humbleness is what I think is needed in order to understand complex societies like mine.
Thank you so much, Jhanisse, for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone in UVA, and to Steve, to Chris, to everyone that has been working to make these collaborations possible. I really find so much hope every time I visit UVA, and I cannot wait to be back. Thank you so, so much for the support.